you don't owe me anything.
Yeah.
In a sense, just because, even if we love each other, we don't owe each other this.
Yeah.
If it's not what God is asking us. Right. And to be able, and it's hard to sometimes dissociate emotions from objective reality of like, is this what we're called for?
Yeah.
Just because I love you doesn't mean that this is the way that I'm called to love you.
Yeah.
Right. And so.
And unchastity is cloudy, bro. Clouds your
trust,
thinking, like, for real, man.
Yeah.
I agree.
Been on that, been in that cloud, that storm. And, man, it's not productive. It's not healthy. And it also ruins like sort of our relationship and our focus with Christ too, right? Like it nulls that.
And it's like it's hard to redraw lines.
Oh
yeah,
it's like once lines have been crossed,
hard to step backwards.
Yeah,
eh? Like
it is.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the biggest things I've heard from my friends.
Yeah.
In their relationships, say when a boundary is crossed, they said to redraw that is like because you've already tasted what's on the other side.
Yeah.
And to go back is it makes it it's very, very difficult, right? Very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've like I've had experience with that as well, and it's not awkward. It's just so it's
an intimate thing if you really think about it.
Like to it kind of like I don't want to say it like it ruined like a relationship, but it made things so complex, right? And if you don't know how to deal with that complexity, right, you and that person, chances are it is going to end.
I think you were on the right lines though when you said it does ruin it actually, right? Because it's meant for marriage, and I know I get you too because I've been in that unchaste lifestyle in my past as well.
Yeah,
and I thought like, no, this is the norm, this is love, and no, it does ruin things for sure. And you cannot honestly, no one could look me in the eyes and say they discerned properly, right? When you're being like unchaste, like no, it doesn't work. And I'm saying that because I wouldn't have been in that last relationship for 4.5 years if it wasn't for like unchastity. I think that prolonged it by years, right?
Yeah.
We'd have just been like good friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Realize that marriage wasn't for us, right?
Yeah. And I think when unchastity comes into a relationship, it takes control of a relationship, and all of a sudden you forget about serving the other.
No, I agree.
And
I agree.
And then it becomes I want to be served.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, because what happens is that you've changed the view of like putting order.
Yeah.
Because you've changed the order of things.
Yeah.
And now instead of like putting the other first, like you've been the person that you're putting forward.
Yeah.
And it honestly, I don't think anyone really gets into a relationship wanting to do that. If they do, then it's like you're kind of you're not. That's not really the way you love.
Let's get a reset.
But a lot of people love for the right reasons. They just mess it up.
Yeah.
Because they ruin the order.
Yeah.
And so just like how there's a natural order to things.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about like finding that person who has the same faith as you, same values, and same desires, that you can draw those boundaries early on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't want to have those conversations early on because they don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
But I think the earlier you have these conversations, the better,
Yeah, 100%. Like
so,
if, the next relationship, God willing, right? That's probably going to be one of the first few things we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So for my relationship, when I started getting serious about my faith, I remember I shared this first in our first one.
Yeah.
I won't get into my serious conversations yet. I think serious relationships yet. I think I'll save that for our other future podcasts. But there was 2 like minor relationships in high school that really defined the way I kind of wanted to live.
Yeah.
One was I just recently had my conversion and I wanted to live for the Lord, went to confession, was still like growing in my faith, learning about it, what the do's and the don'ts. And I just started living life a little bit better, but I was still had one foot in and one foot out, like one foot with God, one foot not with God. So I remember I was a bit of a flirt back in the day, and I remember being invited by one of my classmates to her birthday, and I kind of knew that she liked me because of just the way like her friends would like interact with me. So I was like, okay. And I remember like her friends, and there was like alcohol involved and other things like that. So people's minds were clouded. Sure. I actually stopped drinking. I used to drink in high school a lot, but I stopped drinking after my conversion. Mm-hmm. And I remember like their friends were like, "Oh, AJ, like, hey, we want to show you something. Like, it's upstairs. It's in our room. Like, would you want to come?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, actually, like, I have an early morning. I wanted to come by and say happy birthday because she invited me and stuff like that. And so like I left, and I remember walking to the bus stop. I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Like, is this the kind of lifestyle I want to continue to live? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to live like this anymore. Right. So I stopped going to those parties, but I still had one, like I started having like one foot, like with like both feet with God, but I would go backwards. I'd be like 2 feet with God, then I'd be like, like I'll put back my other foot. Yeah. And so when I really decided to really just like want to live for God was I got into this relationship with, actually the only Indian girl that I actually ever really dated.
Daisy, shout out.
Yeah, and it was very physical actually, and very physical in nature. She wasn't really practicing. Yeah. She would always just comment about my body and just want to hang out and like watch movies in the basement and stuff like that. And I remember when I would hang out at her house, she would never want to hang out with her family with me. She would always be like, "Hey, let's hang out in my room." Yeah. I'm like, "What the heck are we gonna do in your room?" Like, obviously, I know what's gonna happen there, and I don't want to go there.
So parents just used to like allow that.
Her parents would.
Wild, bro.
It was bad. And I remember, and what was weird was that she had a younger sibling, and she was like, "Oh, hey, like my parents are home. They're gonna cook dinner. Let's just hang out in my room." I was like, "Hey, I want to hang out with your sibling." Like, I'm a really family guy. I really like dig like in getting to know my friends' families. And like I want to invest in their families.
Oh, so you had that from young, eh?
Yeah. Because I want a big family in myself, and I really want like a healthy blossoming family, so I kind of look for that. Yeah. And so so I wanted to get invested, right? And so I remember we were in my basement, and for some reason we were cuddling, and she was like, "Oh, like, hey, like, where do you see us?" And I'm like, "Oh, like, just I don't know." And I remember like her, like, she was almost about to kiss me, and I'm like, "Hey, I want to be a man in this relationship, and so I want to kiss you first." And she's like, "Okay."
We know you keep your promises, bro.
Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, then can you respect that?" And she was like, "Yeah, I respect that." And she kind of fell asleep, and so I left her on the couch, and I was like, "What the heck am I doing? Like, I'm a leader in my youth group, and I'm still doing this." And so I remember I blew off steam. I played some basketball and shoot some hoops, shoot some threes. And then I come back, and she was awake, and she's like, "Oh, hey, where'd you go out?" And I was like sweating. I was like, "I went to go play basketball." She's like, "Oh, okay. I think I should go home now." I'm like, "Okay." And I remember like after that, I was like, like I can't be living like this. And so like I stopped pursuing girls like that. Yeah. And
at some point the lifestyle has to match your beliefs, eh?
Yeah, and actually I stopped working out as often.
Oh, right.
But like I think I started becoming more like confident in myself, not because of my body, but because of who I am as a child of God. Yeah. And I think I got more confidence in that rather than my physical. Yeah. And so, which was good. But yeah, so that was when I was like, even inherently, I knew that there was some goodness and beauty in chastity, and that there was something here, that was worth waiting for.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But knowing me, I try to be a man of my word, and honestly, sometimes that really backfires. It backfires a lot, and so I need to be able to discern, like, is that really what God is calling me to do, or is that what I want to do?
Or is that what AJ's
And
calling
I
me to
remember my spiritual director saying, "Never use God's name as an excuse
I
to do
remember
what you
this.
want."
I remember this.
And I'm like, damn, Father, you're killing me.
Yeah, I love how he's a straight shooter like that,
yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, you don't play.
Yeah, but like there was only a very few times that God really spoke to me very clearly.
Yeah.
And I can definitely say that as of recently, because I've been spending a lot more time with him in adoration and in mass and the rosary with our Blessed Mother, that I can start hearing him more clearly. And I think as of recently, the things that I've done weren't out of just from me, but from him, because I had genuine fear of doing some of the things he's asked me. Fear, but like it's weird to have peace and fear at the same time, in the sense that like I don't think I can do this, but I know you're calling me, so I can do this.
Right.
So that's that combination of not just that knowing that God's asking you, but you can do it with him, not by yourself.
But
Back in the day, I used to be just like, no, I can do this. I want this
on your own strength.
In my own strength. Not in a, now I'm like not in a hurry. Like, dude, like I'm kind of like that guy now. Like, Lord, you need to eat me. Like, I have to be eaten by a whale before you make me do something. And then he's like, yo, that was not how I made you. Like, you just gotta do things. I don't know. So yeah,
crazy.
But we can talk about more about this in the future.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think this is very appropriate. I didn't even realize like Valentine's Day is next week, right? But to our listeners, right? Maybe give your your current relationship or a potential relationship a bit of a spiritual health checkup, right? See where you guys are at. Talk with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, your husband. Just see where you guys are at with Christ. And
I'd agree. See that person first. Before you see, because Christ in a way is the one that will always love us more than the other. And I think that's something that Andre and I always said, like, like even though I love you, like to our significant other, but like God will always love you more than I can ever. So like, but do you know that?
That's facts.
Because like I can't fill you the way that he can. And the moment that you're getting me to fill his spot is when I'm going to start failing you. And that you're going to start failing me because you can't fill that.
We cannot go to our significant others to be filled. That is for sure. Putting them in that seat of where that throne where God is supposed to sit. It's only him. Nobody else, no other thing should be sitting there, right?
So thank you for all those that have been waiting and listening and our faithful followers. But as you can see, we are trying to be more consistent.
We're back, man.
We back. We back at Studio A. Over at AJ's place.
And we're still working on how to get used to our equipment. So hopefully this is a better week.
I suspect next week's gonna sound probably a little different, but hopefully only better.
Amen.
Anything coming up this week, guys?
Andre's talk on Monday on how to ask someone on a date.
Spicy.
Hey, want to go to the movie sometime?
No, first it's like,
don't do that, right?
Can I have this dance?
Oh yes, throwback to the old grade 8 Ken. Those were
and I'm
days.
telling you just gotta go back to that.
Yo, you're right, eh? I'm telling you. You're telling me. You've been telling me.
I've been telling you, man. Take that dance.
Oh man. Anyway,
I really don't want to go back to the way that I used to. I'm cute. You're cute.
I'm cute. You're cute. I know you find me cute. So
this guy.
So talk next week for you, Andre.
Yes.
AJ, anything?
And then you and I have a dinner at St. Leonard's.
Yeah, that's right. The pasta dinner.
Yeah.
Hopefully al dente. But I'm not picking out. It's for good cause.
Yeah, but also
it's for good cause.
I don't really like pasta. So.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's not get on that topic right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, I think that's AJ's one fault when it comes to.
We're actually looking for a new co-host on the Keystone podcast. Someone who does appreciate pasta.
Yeah.